Hello, friends. I'm Roger Ruby. I want to talk to you today about how adversities that we face can, in fact, become a blessing. You may have heard this idea that the roadblock, the adversity, the obstacle is the way. And it's absolutely true because within the challenges that we face, we also have the seeds of incredible opportunity to learn and to grow and to expand ourselves as humans, to up level. But how do we get there? Because that sounds kind of pie in the skyish, doesn't it? Oh my God, adversity after adversity after adversity. Sometimes life can get pretty darn relentless. And when we're in that place of feeling a bit like a victim, a bit beat up, well, that's a sure sign that we've lost our personal empowerment, that our resilience bank account is in overdraft protection or maybe approaching bankruptcy. So we've got to do something about that. We have to build up our resilience reserves to get to the place where we see adversity as an actual blessing. Now let's think about that concept for a moment. There's an extreme example that I heard recently that I think is pretty impressive, and it has to do with the inventor Thomas Edison. At one point, he was well established, his career was going great, and he had a research facility where he was doing his work. And he had a huge team of people. He had decades of research in there. He had new experiments. He had secret stuff that he was developing. All of it in one place. And that building happened to catch fire. So he was notified at his house that his life's work was going up in flames. And what did he do? He went right to the scene with his family and he watched this incredible fire happening. And it was really an interesting fire because it had all kinds of strange colors in the flames due to some of the compounds he had in that particular building. Okay, that aside, what he said to his son was, hey, go get all your friends, go get your mom, bring everybody over, bring as many people as you can to watch because they're never going to see a fire like this again in their lifetimes. He was excited about it. He even made a comment that, well, at least we're getting rid of a lot of the debris and stuff we didn't need anymore. We'll be able to start over. That was his attitude right from the beginning. But it got even worse. That building was built to never burn. It was like the Titanic of buildings. And so as a result, the insurance was lower in terms of replacement. So what ended up happening was when everything was said and done and all the damage was done and everything that was lost, he only got a third of the money necessary to replace everything. So now he's in a fiscal deficit. He's lost everything. What are you going to do? He rallied. He put people on double shifts. He rebuilt everything. And at the end of that year, he was back into a $10 million profit. And back then, that's the equivalent of $200 million today. That is amazing. And the coolest part about it was he was not faking his excitement over this. So what does that say about Mr. Edison? A very high level of resilience because he was able, in the moment of an incredibly dramatic thing, to see the benefit and possibilities. He accepted what was. He focused then only on what he could control. Let's watch an amazing fire and be entertained, and then let's rebuild. And not only rebuild, but let's rebuild something better. You see, that's the seeds of opportunity. He's looking for those seeds within the tragedy. Now, the only way that we can do that is if those resilience reserves are very high, if our heart is peaceful and open and without fear. If we think back to the different times in our life where we've all faced our own adversities, maybe not as dramatic as Mr. Edison, or maybe more so, and you've made it to this point, you're still here. That means you navigated those adversities, and you probably did better with some than others, but I'm willing to bet the vast majority of you leveled up. You gained wisdom minimally so that you didn't have to repeat that again. Many of you not only leveled up with wisdom about how not to repeat the same challenge, adversity, mistake again, but you decided to let it amplify you, to grow. And now you're in a new place and you got more confidence. You're more empowered. Empowerment, that is true resilience. So, how in the world do we cultivate that when the sky is falling, right? 3D reality. Right now in the United States, we're in our election cycle. You want to see crazy? Yeah, take a look at the circus happening right now. And man, everything they say is the sky is falling. You should be fear-filled. You should be divided against each other. And it goes on and on and on. Never ending. Turn that crap off and let your mud settle. What does that mean? We're all stirred up. We're all agitated. You cannot move through adversity from a place of mental hijack. You're wrapped around the axle about something. It's not going to work. You will not be able to move through the adversity with ease and grace when you are mentally hijacked. So let our mud settle. This is a Buddhist term. Imagine going down to a river, got a big jar, you fill it full of water, you set it down, it's all stirred up, come back a couple hours later, all that mud is settled. Now the water's clear. The obvious correlation here is when we let our mud settle. In other words, when we do the mindfulness and resilience practices that allow us to be calm, centered, alert, ready. Now this is working, and the new orientation is, yep, that's not a fun experience I'm going through right now, but I'm going to look for the seeds of opportunity that are in there. That's the magic. But how do we get there? It's fine to say these things. Oh, Roger, the obstacle is the way. Yay, this bad thing happened. I'm going to look for the good. If you're coming from that attitude of, come on, man, that's pie in the sky, it's hyperbole. No, you've misread this entirely. That's like painting lipstick on a pig, because at the end of the day, that's still a pig. So how do we cultivate a calm, centered, and balanced perspective no matter what's happening? It's through mindfulness practices and resilience building practices. And the best one I know is breath work. Now you can search our channel. We've got a lot of training on breath work. And virtually all of it comes from the person who I feel is the most well-rounded in terms of breath work and its resilience building practices, and that is Patrick McKeown, who wrote The Oxygen Advantage. So we've got some little snippets here and there that show you exactly how to begin to let that mud settle. And once you're in that place of restoration, you've got more money in your resilience bank account. Now you're in a place when the adversity comes to receive that, to accept what is, and then focus on the aspects of it that you can control so you're moving forward. Now, all that said, I know that sometimes we get stuck. There's times where I get stuck, and I practice these things every single day. So what do you do when you get stuck? You reach out to a mentor, a guide, a coach, and you work with them to get through the obstacle or adversity that's been placed in your path that for whatever reason you can't seem to find your way around. It's just got you stuck. That's what I do. I help people get unstuck. I help people become empowered so they can move forward. Now, to be clear, I don't solve your problems. I encourage you, guide you, nudge you, kick you in the ass, hold you accountable to solve your own problems. So if you're stuck and you need a boost, you need a hand to get to the next level, just reach out to me at my website, rogerrugiresiliencecoach.com. It's what I live for, and it's what fills me with the most joy is when I can help someone move through their obstacle with a whole lot more ease and grace than if they tried to do that on their own. That's how we get to the place where we can accept an adversity and see it for what it really is, for what it contains, blessings and opportunities.